All right. So let's talk about entering the workplace. A little bit about me. I've been doing this shit. I'm 21. I've been doing this shit for a long time. This is not for employers or anybody like this. This is for first-time employees, people entering the workplace for the first time. So we're gonna go over the first few steps and what to expect, and it's going to be general but also quite comprehensive if you don't know what you're doing at all. So let's start from the beginning. First, a few quick words. This is for people who are entering the workforce, like I said before. You are unskilled, little to no college experience, meaning you're going to community college or stuff like that. You haven't finished, or you're not quite finished with other more intensive skills like trade schools. If you are fresh out of college, there will be timestamps in the video where you can skip to the resume help and then working to work. That's something that will be explained later. Um, Note, lower expectations. You're gonna get shafted. You're gonna need to start researching locality, so where you are, if you're in a small town, or if you're in a city, or in a fucking major hub like in New York City. You need to look at local businesses and what corporations are near you, like Walmart, Target, etc. This is also for an American audience. You're gonna need to find out what specializations are available. So if you have security work available, general blue collar, um, restaurant work, either front of the house, back of the house, stuff like that. And finally, figure out what resources you have and what support you can receive, either by your friends, family, getting rides, what cash you have on hand, what you have in your bank account, if you have a phone, where to get a cheap phone, stuff like that. Internet access. That's a big part. If you don't have internet access, I don't know how you're watching this. So step one, two, and three, kind of. There's more steps to it. Research every employer. I mean every employer. Search your local Craigslist, scour LinkedIn, go through Indeed, ask your family and friends, and last of all, going outside. Um, that's the biggest part. You can't do all of this through your computer. You have to go outside, meet, and talk to people. It's not like what your boomer father says or your Gen X father, whoever it is. Go, just put on a nice suit and tie, go in there and shake the manager's hand firmly. No, I'm talking about other employees, other people within the workforce. So you're gonna go to your local mall, go anywhere really where there's businesses that you can walk through. Um, Malls essentially, or restaurants like where I am, where I live. It's common. I'm in a pretty local place, like huge place. It's not that small, so I can afford to go out. There's places where it's just restaurants, places where it's I have several malls, zoos, aquariums, all that stuff. You need to go outside. You need to meet people. You need to talk to people. So if you're autistic like me, it's going to be a lot harder. Um, Entry level is a lie. The whole like entry level where they train you and then you have a career opportunity, that's dead. The entry level, what it means now is unskilled labor or slightly skilled labor. It's stuff that you would go to. It's not white collar, but it's not exactly blue collar. It's not exactly in the trades. So we're talking about kitchen work, retail, manual labor. So like stocking shelves, stuff like that. Placing bricks. A good place to look for manual labor if you have the connections is if you're in a bigger area, finding your local building. I forgot what they're called. I'll go into it later. Um, if you have somebody in your family who runs a business or who knows someone who runs a business or knows a hiring manager, stuff like that, use that resource. No one's going to judge you. It's hard out here. Contractor. If you exhausted everything else and you need cash quick and you have a car, or if you have access to a car, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Ubering people. If you have a nicer car that you have access to, you can Uber people around, but it has to be more recent. I forget the actual terms, actual what they actually call it, the rules for it. And you need to assess your resources: money, your transport, internet access, and your local unemployment center. Usually, they're no help. They either have opportunities that involve ruining your life, going out of the state to get trained in this one area where then you'll be auctioned off to other employers. That's what it's like for me at my local unemployment center. Or they'll talk about joining the military if you are able bodied, no medical history. That's an option too. Not worth it because you're going to go die for Israel or anything else. They have options there. It's always a good idea to go down there, grab their flyers. Don't give them your contact info because they'll badger you sometimes. But yeah, try to get the info. They'll usually just bring you into a room with a bunch of computers and staff there who will help you. And then your next steps. You will have to specialize, especially now. It's not an entry level economy, it's a skills based economy. You'll need to figure out what you're willing to specialize in and how quickly you can specialize in. So depending on who's hiring locally, look at their job postings and see what they're looking for. Save the ones you can reasonably learn. So like guard card certification, food handlers. If this is if you can afford it or if your county sponsors it. So once, like again, your county unemployment center, sometimes they sponsor it or it's cheaper through them. So stuff that I've done: security, kitchen work, and retail. Security is generally a revolving door, so you can just apply to unarmed positions without certs. They'll get you onto certifications. Usually they'll either take it out of your check, but usually it takes about 40 hours to get your California guard card. But it's different out of state. I don't have any experience with it. Kitchen work, not front end. Front end work is kind of hard to get access to because usually you have to be in the back end, in which they bring you up front if you're attractive enough and you have person skills. And then from there on, you can use that front end experience to get more front end jobs at better restaurants. But yes, you will need a food handlers, especially in California, where a food handlers is necessary for even jobs like dishwashing, because it's not about handling food; it's about general being clean, essentially. And retail. Target is voodoo magic. It really doesn't matter. It's usually about who you know. That's how it used for a lot of these nicer gigs like Target or Trader Joe's, stuff like that. Walmart is fucked. They will use you, abuse you. They have lawsuits every fucking week. They run that, like, if you work the midnight stocking shelves like stuff, they won't crack whips, but it feels like they're cracking whips because you have these fucking managers walking up and down the wall saying, "Oh, you didn't do it right. You didn't do it right. It's terrible. Don't do it." And anywhere else is fine. In general, for retail, it's gonna be hard work. You're gonna have to deal with stupid people, but that's part of the game. And your resume. Fuck cover letters. Don't do cover letters unless you're applying to like a zoo where you're gonna need to cover letters. And you're gonna talk like, "I love nature and I love animals. Please let me work for you." But shit like that doesn't matter. That's like if it's like super specialized and they need somebody with a degree or a certain skill set. You can do a cover letter, but in general, fuck cover letters. Don't use them, or just put your resume in the cover letter section. They'll understand sometimes. But the steps for your resume: you need to find your high school transcript or your GED scores. Finding a job without a high school transcript or without your GED is going to be tough. It's just the job market is not open to you, unfortunately. So there is a base level of education that's needed. Some high school is better than no high school. Some jobs will allow some high school. They just need to know that you're able to learn. Any kind of volunteer work. I mean, the volunteer work that you did in like middle school to graduate quote unquote, stuff like that. Any kind of volunteer work, knowing that you have person skills. A lot of volunteer work is person skills or service above self. List it and list any and all skill. Proficient in English, Spanish speaker, tech literacy, able to use the Microsoft 360 suite. If you're looking for data entry, which there is none, it's all been exported. It's all international. Data entry from home is dead. It's all of it. All of those data entry from home places are just going to steal your data off your resume, which has your name, contact info, where you live, all that crap. So those are all the things you'll need. Next, you'll need to find certifiable skills. So a California Guard card, which I've mentioned, food handlers, Spanish proficiency cert. Find an industry trusted certification providers. Go to your unemployment center. They'll tell you which ones you can use. They can range from cheap to pricey, but it's just basically any piece of paper that tells employers that you can speak Spanish. Because if you do, being able to speak English and Spanish, or English and Arabic, will open up for you. You'll be able to get cushier jobs that pay more, like call center work. But that's already kind of tough to get into, even though you get verbally abused every day. Keep your resume to one page. Keep it to header, body, and footer. Keep it simple and format it, but also keep it simple. And be okay with your personal info being stolen from fake listings on Indeed. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Here's your steps. Good luck, dude. So, like I said before, research and fake your certifications. Build your resume with your certifications. Apply. Like I mentioned before, that get into applying to jobs is a full-time job. So 8 hours a day, put your nose down, grind, and then apply more. Like, it's tough out there. You're gonna notice that in like 2 or 3 days, you're gonna be putting out 100 or more applications, and you're gonna get no calls back. Especially if you live in a super populous area where it's more professional work. It's really difficult out here. And then interview. It's not that simple. I'll explain. Interviewing, what to expect, and be okay with dog shit work. I just want to let you know that again. More research. For the companies that tell you that they want to schedule an interview, find out what they do, their company values, so you can masquerade and say that you have those values too, when that, like, honesty or whatever. Like, they usually have like the big 3 words that they love. Common questions. So go on Glassdoor, other resources, other hiring resources, see what other people are saying, what they ask, and how the hiring process is like. And then usually at the end of the interview, they'll ask you questions. They'll ask you if you have questions for them. Now before I get into that, let's go into number 5. And you need to figure out how to sell yourself. Make yourself desirable, stay humble, state that you love to learn and that you learn quick. But also, during the hiring parts, sorry, over here, I fucked it up. Anyways, I'm not reshooting this. Questions you want to ask. If this is like a retail position with Target, Walmart, usually your interviews will be multi-staged, especially with nicer restaurants too. If it's just like a kind of like a bar or whatever, it's kind of easier to get into, not as a bartender or as a barkeep, but questions you want to ask. So like, what are the days? What are the hours? What are you looking for in one big one that they love is, what do you look for in a candidate? And then when they answer what they're looking for in a candidate, sell yourself. Tell them how you match that description, even if you have to bend the truth. They're stupid employers. You're probably only going to work there for like 6 months or less. It doesn't fucking matter. You're just there to get your cash, pay off bills, pay rent, move the fuck on. And then one of the big parts that a lot of people mess up is scheduling yourself with intention. Be prepared to have days where you're out interviewing 2 or 3 times a day with different employers. So it's going to get tiring. You're going to want to just go home. This is if you're super successful. So don't ever miss interviews. Always call ahead to reschedule. So like if you like really need to just go home, fuck it, just call them, say, hey, family came up, I'd love to reschedule and come back to you. Shower an hour before. Wear clean professional clothes. Depending on where you're going to interview, keep it business casual. Slacks and a nice button-up t-shirt is fine. Finding these clothes, because you're unemployed, you're poor like me, thrifting is dead unless you're in a small town. So go to a surplus store. Those are usually more available near you. They'll be kind of pricier, but they're in surplus. They might not fit you, but as long as they don't look like dog shit. Be presentable, be casual, and be sociable. This is the hardest part. Being sociable, especially in an interview, it's kind of weird because there's a definite power dynamic where you want to treat them like a god, but you also want to be humble and be assertive, but not too assertive where they don't think it's easy to hire you or to teach you. So you want to talk with intention, and you want to apologize if you mess up. But if you do mess up, don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. Try to move on. See if they'll move on, but don't make it obvious. The whole thing is about being sociable. The personality hires is a joke, but it's a real thing. Even if you're underqualified, if you have a good personality, employers will recognize having you in the workplace was a good idea sometimes, or that you're able to handle difficult situations well just by how you're able to talk with other people. And depending on the job and how well you do, be prepared for a job offer after the interview. This is for like bar, kitchen work, stuff like that. You might just get an offer after the interview, or a straight callback to tell you that you got it or you didn't get it. They will ghost you most of the time. If you think you did a good job in the interview and they haven't gotten back to you within like 3 days, 2 days, depending on how desperate you are, shoot them an email, send them a text, to the hiring manager. Just see where you're at. Their hiring managers, especially for bigger companies or like security companies where it's kind of a revolving door, they have tons of people on their plate, and they're managing you, and they're sending you to their hiring company that they do separate, because they don't do their own hiring books. They just get your information and send to other people. And be prepared for multi-interview stages. So that's the end of it. Let's go to resumes. But you want to gather your information. You want to know, well, name, your address, library's work if you're homeless, library address works, phone number, email, put your preferred contact. If you don't want your phone being blown up by unknown numbers, put your email. Because now these days they go into like Google Voice or whatever, and they text you through a company phone number that's provided. So they might just text you, but sometimes they call you and you just hang up the call because it's a random person. Because who uses their phone like a regular phone these days? I know, right? So put your preference on how they contact you on the resume, and that's your header. That's your general information. Then you're gonna quickly put in your skills. Any skills. Bullshit your skills. Lie about your skills. They're just skills. It doesn't matter. Proficient English speaking in America. Surprisingly, people don't put it on their interviews and on their resume. And to be honest, most of your resume these days isn't even going through a hiring manager. It's going through AI. They're just scanning it through AI, and they're just looking to see if you match it big enough of the words they put in, and then your resume will get selected, and then they'll read through it. So, putting your skills, putting your volunteer work if you have it, work. If you have nothing, anything that you can use to sell yourself. So, fast learner. That's kind of a skill, but that's something that's big. Fast learner, willingness to learn, and shit like that. And then in your header, in your footer, you put in keywords. So your resumes you're gonna have a few of them, and it's gonna be for specific industries, but use keywords. So put like, for a security job, put I'm an observant and fast moving person. Whatever, I don't know. I haven't applied to security work in a while. I have years of experience, but I don't really do it. Shit like that. That's the general information you're gonna want. If you have nothing, if you only have skills, then you go to your high school transcript, or your high school transcript, or the equivalent. Put in your senior year GPA, weighted, of course. Only really do this if your GPA is like above a 3.0. Anything below a 3.0 doesn't really look good. And then for references, put references you're not going to have any, but you're going to need some. So for your references, do family, friends, if you have any. Talk to your neighbor for the first time and ask if you can use them as a reference. Usually they'll say yes, or they'll say fuck off, I don't know you. Whatever. Anybody works with a reference besides your direct family. Nobody within your direct family can be your reference. If you have a direct family member in your reference, it's not going to look good. Somebody who shares your last name, not going to look good. Teachers work if you are fresh out of high school. Teachers work, especially if you're literally 18 entering the workforce. Fuck college. Teachers, put a high school teacher that you have good chemistry with. And then if you don't have any, your direct friends, and lie. Say they're a family friend, or say if you're lying about your experience, put coworker, friendly coworker. They'll reach out to them. If they require supervisors, just you can go onto LinkedIn and then check your local Walmart or whatever, and then see who the hiring manager is there. Usually you can kind of find it if you've researched or stalked people enough. It takes a bit of skills, but you can do that and you can put that in there. And with companies like that, it's like I said, it's a revolving door. They'll get a call about you. They'll say, "Oh yeah, I know who that is." They don't know who it is. It's whatever. Never, ever, 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 ever lied about a degree. That's gonna bite you in the ass. You're gonna be unskilled. You won't know what you're doing. So yeah, that's how you build a resume. So this is a pre-built resume. It's bad. This pre-built resume is bad. And because of the different texts, see how it's overly formatted? You don't want that. So let's go back to docs.google.com. Let's build a resume together. This is the hardest part. Resume. So, first, you're gonna want to put your name. So, center text. This is super basic. Center text, name. Usually you want that to be something like Libra of Bakersfield. It needs to be something kind of big and that they can see it. The goal of this is to grab the eye, but to have it be readable. Readable. The big point is readable. Arial is readable. I recommend Times New Roman. But that depends on who you're applying to, or if we have like a degree in like finance. Times New Roman works really well because finance bros love it. So put your name. Let's say your name is Daniel. Put your name is Daniel. Highlight it. Make it big. Bold it. Whatever. Fine. Now this is where it gets fancy. Not a lot of people know this, and it's a formatting trick that doesn't break AI. Where is it? I haven't done this in a while. Where's the line break tool? Line break. Format. What the fuck? Am I stupid or am I dumb? Okay, I'm not reshooting this. Pretend there's a line break. You're gonna want to have a line break to separate the information. Now, in smaller text, like 10, change the format to Arial. And then put your address. Make sure you format it correctly. Don't look like an idiot. You learned this in kindergarten. This is a skill that they're looking for, essentially. Everything that a hiring manager looks for. So make sure it's a properly formatted address. Let me find one. Fake. You live at John Doe here. Shit. Okay. Pretend that's okay. That's so overly formatted. Fucking hate AI. Okay. Random address generator. You just need to put dog. I'm gonna freak out. Man. Arial. Make it a bit smaller. Whatever. It's you can do whatever what feels right, but make sure it's legible and make sure it looks pretty. not like this. This is good, but it's overly formatted. What I would personally do is take something like this, because I'm a lazy bastard and I don't want to mix anything cool. I'm gonna take this, Control V. Holy shit, what the fuck just happened? Reset. Alright, never mind. I would take this. Dog. Whoa. And then unformat it. Special formatting is gonna break shit. So unbold that. Actually, as long as it's not too many things like this, Google Docs sometimes will auto format it. Fight back against it. It's gonna take a bit more time, but keeping it away from that, because a lot of these companies, they don't use proper tools when they, like, if you're going to like a company website to apply and you upload your resume to it, it's going to break down your resume and it's going to put shit up there. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to fix a lot of the stuff and it's going to be really annoying. So I'd keep the formatting to a minimum and make it quickly readable. Keep it, like I said, to a header, a body, and a footer. When you learn in web development, a header, main information, a body, the main information that they're gonna, personal information, main information, and then keywords and explanation of who you are. Usually you want that up the front, but like I said, they're not looking for that anymore. They're looking for skills, and when they run it through it's mostly for the AI. It's kind of a shame that you have to do that. Make sure to replace experience with whatever, and a resume that, if you have nothing to put on your resume and you do all the tips that I tell you, it's better to keep it small and empty than it is to fill it out and make the information spaced out. It's not worth doing. It's gonna make it look worse. It's gonna make it look tacky. It's gonna make it look bad. So that's the general idea. Like I said, it's difficult to do, but you'll figure it out. You're gonna get unlucky. You're not gonna like it. You're gonna have to put in a lot of hard work, and you're gonna get shafted with shit work. Good luck.